Ain't nobody ever been to space.
Really?
Nobody ever been outside of this firmament.
That is an interesting conversation I would love to have.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's so? So you think we faked the moon landing?
Yes.
So you think...
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
They say there wasn't no air in space. One of the moon landing clips, that damn flag was blowing.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
And also, too, it's a video. I saw this shit on TikTok. It was crazy. The same pictures they had on the NASA website was found in the coordinates of a desert in California, but they said it was quote-unquote Mars. You can look it up.
Right, so what do you think's up there? If it's a firmament and we can't leave, what do you think's up there?
I think it's water. I think it's water up there. Tell me why when rockets, when they go up, they start to curve. They start to take the shape of if something was circular. Why do they curve? I was having an argument with my pops about it. He was like, because it's the GPS system, they go there. I'm like, no, bro. That's not
so interesting. So I did a poll yesterday. 40% of my viewers think that they faked the space capsule landing. 40% think that. That's a lot. That's a huge...
I mean, it's obvious, bro. It's obvious, bro. They faked a lot of shit.
So what are we supposed to do with this information for the next 20, 30 years? You're a young man. You're starting out. You have a hot career. Like, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to exist in a lie if this is allegedly true?
I think it's about finding the people that are just as conscious of you and keeping them close enough so when shit hit the fan, they'll be the same ones that protect you.
Why is it that during a lunar eclipse time-lapse, the shadow on the moon, or supposed shadow on the moon, changes directions almost 90 degrees? Look at this. Comes from the top down. Oh, look, oh, the Earth's just making a right angle turn. Oh, and then comes off the other way. Now, how does that make sense? How does the Earth, what, is the Earth doing a right angle turn mid-eclipse? So this is actual proof that lunar eclipses actually debunk the globe, because the Earth shouldn't be making a right angle turn. So something else is causing the eclipse. We don't know what it is, but an intellectually honest person would just say, well, I don't know. And I'm telling you, I don't know what the cause of the lunar eclipse is, but it's definitely not Earth's shadow.
Flat Earther here. Just have a quick question for my globe science people. With all due respect, I need some CGI to help me visualize what's going on here. We're on a globe, orbiting the sun, equatorial season, so the sun is at the equator. The moon orbits us. This was the latest and greatest blood moon. Shadow came in this way, exits this way. Somebody, please use CGI. Help me visualize this, because I just cannot. I don't understand.
ChatGPT what the horizon would look like if Earth were flat. And this is what they said. No consistent horizon distance. The distance to the horizon on a round Earth depends on your height above the ground. On a flat Earth, there wouldn't be a fixed horizon. Your view would only be limited by the atmospheric conditions, obstacles, and the strength of your vision. I can generate an image, okay? I said, please do. Look, y'all. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is what we see every single day of our lives. It's time to wake up. It should be obvious we're on a globe, and it's not.
Guys, proof of the dome. Proof of the dome in beautiful Arizona. Look, do you see the rainbow right there? Look, see the rainbow right there? Look, it's a perfect rainbow. Oh my gosh, It's a perfect rainbow proving the dome. Look at that. What the Tell me how that makes sense. Can you see it? I don't even know if you can see it. Because it's kind of... And then over here, it's like, yo, that's crazy. Dude, that literally proves there's a dome. I don't mean to sound facetious either. That's the proof of the dome right there. Tell me how that makes sense in your little globe universe. Whoa.
When it comes to the whole flat earth discussion, people want to say NASA. NASA said it so it should be so. Absolutely not. NASA also says they went to the moon in 1969. But all the tapes are missing and we could go on and on. But you want me to believe them now. I mean, they're so trustworthy and all, right? And then another one is that we can look through a telescope, man, and see all these other round planets. Yep. And ain't none of them got no life on them. I wonder why that is. I know there's going to be some kind of scientific reason you're going to give me, but I'm just going to say because they're not flat and Earth is, and because Earth is special, you know, like the center of the universe. That's my take on it. Another thing that I have come to find out is most people who believe on that big spinning ball also believe that Star Trek is real and Star Wars and that's going on out there in space somewhere and there's little green men going to one day invade the Earth. Let's just make it simple. Y'all keep on believing how y'all want to believe, and I'm going to keep on believing the way I want to believe. Because when someone says it makes them closer to God, for someone to argue that says all I need to know. True story. Okay, so I got a few questions here. First, let's talk about Werner von Braun. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name or whatever, but he was a German scientist who came into NASA to help them design and develop the Apollo 13 rocket that supposedly they went to the moon on. But anyway, you know what's on his tombstone? You can look it up. Psalms 19:1. You know what that talks about? It talks about the firmament. So he knew there was a firmament. And I'm sure there's some people, I'm not saying that everybody who believes in this spinning ball doesn't believe in a firmament, but this scientist definitely did. And another thing. So everything's being held up there by gravity. Water's being held on this big spinning ball by gravity and all that stuff, right? Why does NASA need all that helium? What are they using all that helium for? They're the #1 purchaser of helium in the world. I don't have the answers. I'm merely asking a question. True story.
The Weeknd's new album talks about the firmament, the end times, and the music industry taking singers to hell. A couple of you guys told me to look at Timeless by The Weeknd and Playboi Carti. He says, "City on fire when I'm coming home, fill up the sky, I fill up the dome," the firmament. They all know about the firmament. All the people fooling the masses, they all know. It's obvious to them, and they're laughing at us. I got a priest, he got a cross, get out of line, send him to God. I shed a tear, pray for a loss, oh yeah. So the video for this has some really interesting visuals. Here it looks like they're in hell, and take notice of this hell mouth. If you guys are familiar with Travis Scott's Astro World, he has very similar imagery. They're taking from this painting called Christ in Limbo. This is on the outer circle of hell. There's like a giant being that swallows people that are going to hell. And there's all different pictures of hellmouth. Then we had a close-up of hell with the full moon in the background. Then a quick flash of a sign that says paradise. Playboi Carti flashing his pentagram necklaces. The Weeknd doing an Illuminati symbol. He did it like 5 times. This is just 2 pictures. But I want to draw your attention to the album. It's called Hurry Up Tomorrow, and the picture is him screaming in agony. But look at the song list. Wake Me Up featuring Justice. Until We're Skin and Bones. Baptized in Fear. Open Hearts, Opening Night, Reflections Laughing, Enjoy the Show featuring Future, Given Up on Me, I Can't Wait to Get There, Take Me Back to LA, Big Sleep, Give Me Mercy, The Abyss, Red Terror, Without a Warning, and then Hurry Up Tomorrow. Give Me Mercy. Conversations with the Sky, Mercy on My Soul, Things I Should Have Known, Master of Deceptive Lies. Every time I lost my way, I lost my faith. Devil Tricks with Paradise, None of It Is True. Fighting for Your Light, Hoping that it's worth all the bleeding. Big Sleep. Well, you used up your borrowed life and you wasted your borrowed time. Big sleep, You barely put up a fight, ready for the forever night. I can't wait to get there. The darkness keeps you shining. Just sign on the dotted line. I can't wait to get there. Guys, this is not just art. All Christians are screaming from the rooftops that we're in the last minutes of the end times. The entertainment industry has been putting subtle hints out, and now we have stuff that's this obvious. Stop listening to this crap and get right with Jesus. He is coming back soon.
Do y'all want to see what the Earth really looks like at 120,000 foot? I've compressed this 10-minute video of this amateur balloon going up to 120,000 foot. I took it from 10 and made it 1 minute, so it's nice and short for y'all. It may surprise some of y'all. You know, I've seen probably about 100 different pieces of amateur footage of this same exact scenario, and it always ends up the same exact way. Right now they're about at 80,000 foot. Google what happens at 80,000 foot and let me know in the comments. Or at least, when I first went down this rabbit hole 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, at 80,000 foot, something is supposed to happen significant when you're in the atmosphere to the surrounding area. It might have been changed already though. So what do y'all think? Did it look different than you thought it would? You know what you want to say, whether you accept it or not. This video right here is actually hilarious because the sun is, what, 94 million miles away? And the sun is inside the clouds? I guess that means the clouds are 94 million miles away. The ones that are behind the sun, you know? Somebody's lying.
Yeah, this is just a floating rock in the sky that they can land on and put flags in. It's definitely not some sort of a cosmic luminary. It doesn't have its own light. That's a reflection off the sun. Sometimes it wants to be blue. Sometimes it wants to be red. Don't question the narrative, guys. It's just the moon doing moon things. What about the Coleridge effect, where you can literally see a star within the moon? If this was a floating rock, you wouldn't be able to see a star within the moon, right? You'd never be able to see a star within the moon. And there's clearly no connection to all these flags that literally have the stars within the moon. Nothing to see here, guys. It's just a flag. Nothing to do with the phenomenon of the star being within a solid object. I am pretty sure that everyone is aware that this horizon that everybody sees is the 8" per square mile curvature. You know, the reason why we have a vanishing point to our perspective is because of the curvature, right? You know, what about aeroplanes then? The nose of a plane does not dip down to account for the Earth's curve. The plane flies in a pressure medium and the instruments maintain altitude relative to the pressure system. Basically, that's telling you that a plane never has to take account for curvature because the atmosphere just pulls it round the curve. Put it this way, if we were on a curve that curves on a ball in every direction for an 8" square mile radius, we would have to dip an aeroplane every few minutes with the speed that an aeroplane goes. But no, pilots do not take any adjustments to account for the Earth's curvature during a flight. And Google basically tells you that if you go above the average flight height, which most people can't do, i.e. 35,000 feet, then you'll be able to see curvature. But what about the weather balloons that go to 100,000 feet? You must have a little bit of cognitive dissonance if you think that these weather balloons show you curvature. This is undeniable proof that we don't have curvature. I hope you know that. You know, flying 15 meters above sea level at 1,200 miles per hour is very dangerous if it's curved, because you'd have to dip your nose every second that you were flying across the flat plane. But clearly, they don't have to dip their nose every second for the Earth's curvature. It just flies very fast, 1,200 miles per hour, over the flat plane. It's undeniable that jets don't take account for curvature. You know, it's literally going 1,200 miles per hour. It'd have to dip its nose every second. Every second they would have to adjust for the curvature. This was just for entertainment, and I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby. Is anyone else still in total shock that in 2025 people still believe that we've landed here? Astrology and biblical scripture know this thing as a luminary, a cosmic luminary in the sky, not a floating rock reflected from the sun's light. So already right there we've debunked one of the biggest lies NASA have ever told us. This is not a floating rock in the sky. The moon has its own light. It has an efficiency to our waves on our Earth. It has power to our Earth. It's like the magnetical field or something is pushing our waves to and from. It is not just a random piece of rock. Added to that, you've got constant astronauts with errors on strings, bubbles in space, you've got mice crawling through the studio/space, a replica of the ISS that went to the moon in Texas, underwater, that they use for training, filming. And let's not forget to mention that all the astronauts that went to the space are on the Hollywood Walk of Fame amongst some of the biggest actors of all time. Buzz Aldrin fully admits he's never been there and just laughs at anyone that says he did. Neil Armstrong won't even put his hand on the Bible for $5,000 cash just to admit that he went to the moon, even though it takes legitimacy away from the creator if he did land on the moon. The list is honestly endless. You've got NASA, that means deceit in Hebrew. You've got the fact that Neil A is alien backwards. You've got the fact that Buzz Aldrin is Buzz Lightyear and Alderaan is a planet in Star Wars. They put this shit in our faces, guys. We all know that the theory of gravity has made us all be programmed to believe that water can bend. And I can show you now that the mark of the devil is also all over the gravitational theory. See, Google tells us that Isaac Newton published the theory of gravity in 1687, but when did he actually come up with it? He first thought of his system of gravitation, which he hit upon observing an apple fall from a tree. The event occurred in the late summer of 1666. So there it is, guys. They tried to hide it, but you know, Isaac Newton thought of the gravitational theory in 1666. And they literally tell us in plain sight. The first ever Apple logo was a picture of Isaac Newton sitting under the tree in 1666. And once again, guys, you know, the mark of the devil will always be there. The first ever Apple device sold for $666.66. They use symbolism all over this realm. You've literally just got to have the eyes to see it. The list is literally endless. Why is it that weather balloon footage is always a horizontal horizon with what somewhat seems a local sun? You know, the local, not 93 million mile away sun that can be pictured within the clouds. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but even the reflection on the water from the sun is proof that that's not 93 million miles away. But you know, with all the proof of the weather balloon footage being a flat horizontal horizon, and the numerous amateur non-edited footage of the sun being within the clouds all over the internet, what about the fact that we can literally see the moon and the sun both together in the sky, midday, near enough every day? Like, you're not telling me there's a total lunar eclipse every day in the Pacific Ocean or New Zealand, let's say. Come on, guys. I think this is like ultimate proof to me now that the globe is just a hoax. The ball of impossibility can't be true. This is the third day in the row I've been able to capture the sun and the moon midday in the sky. This is 2:20, about 10 minutes ago. The sun and the moon in the sky. Now notice how the sun is completely covered by a haze of cloud. You know? And look how there is just a crisscross of contrails over the moon. Surely in a few hours the moon's going to be covered as much as the sun is right there. You know? But why can we see the sun and the moon in the sky together midday UK of England 3 days in a row? Can anyone confirm what this might be, guys? Because I can't find anything online other than other people's videos with the same image. This photo was literally taken in the northwest of England on the 1st of March when we were having the new moon. And it was absolutely mesmeric but scary at the same time. We had a huge, big, thick, black cloud. Half the sky was light and half the sky was black with 2 stars in the sky. And here's another photo that someone else took. Absolutely mesmeric, but what is it? I can't find this phenomenon online whatsoever. I'ma tag this guy to let him know that I was seeing the exact same thing in the UK. If anyone else can tag their videos or evidence of this happening in their area, let us know, because we're trying to deeply find out what was going on in our skies on the 1st of March.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.